Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to my power scaling series in which I'm going to be going through the entire Cell Saga of Dragon Ball Z from start to finish. If you guys are interested, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and enable all notifications, as well as hitting like and hyping this video up so that you'll be able to see every single one of these videos in this series right away when they come out. And in case that you missed some of the series along the way, make sure to check the end screen of this video when it's over so that you'll be able to in turn go to that playlist and see everything else leading up to this. Now, before we begin, I also wanted to tell you about my book series, The Children of Aman, beginning with the first book, Nemesis of the Absence, a story of thieves who band together in the name of vengeance, using the fundamental forces of creation wielded by the main character, Seraph, a speaker. And you get to see a lot of things such as action, adventure, fight scenes, romance, cool powers, and that much more along the way. So if you're interested, make sure to go down below in the description and get your own copy, physical or digital, today. But with that being said, let's get directly into scaling the Cell Saga. Let's skip ahead. We see that Goku loses. We've already talked about the fact that he was losing because of the heart virus. He wasn't at full power. And this is where a big shift happens too in terms of the significance of the characters, because you could argue that a narrative power scale shift also changes here. Because we have right here where Piccolo gets caught off guard by Dr. Gero, and Gero is able to dodge his attack and blast him, and it looks like he's put out of commission. And then Vegeta shows up and kicks him in the face, because Vegeta always shows up in dramatic fashion, kind of like Piccolo in the movies, and which is also another version of Vegeta's technique. And so you could argue that at this point, this is when Toriyama kind of decided that these characters would no longer be the main villains of the arc, and thus as a result, they almost kind of get nerfed. Piccolo just kind of pops up and he's like, oh, you really think that that attack would have hurt me? And, you know, like, I'm so much stronger than that. It's your fault for thinking that. But it's like, Or maybe is it true that actually Toriyama did plan them to be way stronger than they were, and as a result, Piccolo got blasted and put out of commission, and then, you know, it wasn't all like some super intelligent plan that Piccolo had the whole time. That's something you have to worry and wonder about. Either way, Vegeta shows up, and again, I'd say he's the strongest fighter at the time. He goes Super Saiyan right now, and this is when he explains that the reason why he became a Super Saiyan is because he pushed himself to his absolute limits and he was not able to go beyond them. And through his own self-hatred, he was able to break through his own barriers and once again became the one who surpassed Kakarot, which again, he's pointing out, other characters point out over time. And he became the true Saiyan Messiah in some different translations, or the Prince of all Saiyans, finally taking his throne once again. We see him fight against 19. This is a stronger 19 who absorbed tons of energy from Goku, as we just saw right over here. And, well, then he takes a punch from him, and still, it barely does anything. He just wanted to give it to him for free. And so he starts beating him. You can see that he's clearly doing more damage than Goku was. He's pulling a Piccolo versus 17 right here, where he's turning into Stretch Armstrong, being punched right through. And, well, what keeps happening additionally is that Vegeta just is kind of wrecking him. However, even then, it doesn't seem like this is really enough to beat 19. He's damaging him, but we're still having Vegeta point out that, you sure are sturdily built. So is it a matter of just the components that Dr. Gero used to make him insanely durable, or is it also that his power simply isn't exhausted yet? Now, as we see, Vegeta starts to have his energy absorbed by 19 and uses this opportunity to rip his hands off in order to then fire a blast. His Big Bang Attack! And he, explodes him. Now, the thing is that Vegeta obviously would have had this attack absorbed by 19. So the question is, why did he do this? Well, as we go on to have it explained after this, when Vegeta powers down and he goads Gero into attacking him, he kind of bluffs him, and Dr. Gero doesn't want to call his bluff. Well, we find out from Piccolo that Vegeta would have lost here. He had so much of his energy absorbed that he could not have actually beaten Gero. And not just that, but additionally, he purposely allowed 19 to absorb his energy during the fight so that he could understand how the absorption works so that he'd be able to beat him. This suggests to me that he still actually wouldn't have been able to kill 19 unless he fired a blast at him, which either means that Vegeta actually wasn't that much more powerful than 19 at this point in time after 19 absorbed the energy from Goku, or that 19 was so insanely durable that Vegeta could only kill him through an energy blast. So I think that that's worth mentioning again in terms of the powers of 19 and 20, that those two characters are so powerful that they clearly are way more powerful than Frieza and would have been able to beat Goku on Namek almost certainly as well. Maybe even future Trunks when he showed up, especially because, Trunks often fights like an idiot and wouldn't understand the situation. He fights to kill, but he also might have fought to kill, like an idiot and died. Now, at this point in time, we have Dr. Gero jump in and try to absorb the energy of Piccolo. At this point, he almost drained all of Piccolo's energy to the point to where he dies. Gohan hits him from behind and knocks him off. Again, Gohan is not stronger than Frieza. Dr. Gero was distracted because literally all of his energy and his focus, his defenses were put into absorbing Piccolo's energy, but he has no real damage taken. This is when Piccolo jumps in and goes to fight him. Now, after taking a Senzu Bean, the fight begins and Piccolo starts to wreck Dr. Gero, even after he absorbed Piccolo's energy. That's because of what I had referenced and foreshadowed earlier, which is in terms of the fact that at this point in time, Piccolo and the other fighters have a new ability. Essentially, they can use the Kaioken without the Kaioken. I did a video about this a while back talking about why Goku stopped using the Kaioken. And a lot of people just assumed, oh, it's because he has Super Saiyan. No, it goes even further beyond that. And no, not just, Super Saiyan 3. That's the next start, guys. Pay attention. But in terms of that, they can do something that Goku specifically explained to Captain Ginyu and when he first showed up. Something to keep in mind, when we fight, we can amplify what you would call our energy into huge bursts, which is why the energy you stole from me earlier was nothing to fret over. Now, Piccolo isn't saying that he was suppressed and that Dr. Gero only absorbed the suppressed energy from him. Dr. Gero specifically mentions that, oh, you're going to die because I'm absorbing so much energy. Piccolo mentions how quickly Gohan needs to rush in order to save him. He literally was going to die because he was being drained to death, right? Like, Dr. Gero is going full on succubus here, right? And so as a result, well, Piccolo wasn't saying, oh, I was suppressed, and so, I could put out a higher power level than when I'm suppressed. Dr. Gero knows what suppression is. He followed the Z fighters, and he saw them Goku literally using Kaioken when he fought against Vegeta. He knows all about that. He's not an idiot. He's Tony Stark, but evil. Dr. Doom, basically, or Lex Luthor with hair and an awesome mustache. So he has such an awesome look that even though he's a robot and he could have made himself look like, anyone, he decided to make himself look the same. Talk about a narcissist. So Piccolo, he can go even further than his power level. Piccolo can go from a power level of, let's say his power level is weaker than a Super Saiyan. After all, we see that Krillin says this: he's so strong. What kind of train did Piccolo go through? And he's not even a Super Saiyan either. So that suggests to us that he might not be the power of Vegeta or Goku, obviously, but he is still stronger than them. Or Krillin's literally just saying that he's a Namekian, not a Saiyan with glowing, hair. Obviously, Piccolo doesn't have any. Maybe his antlers would grow, his antennas. But either way, Piccolo's power level can go from 140 million to 250 million in a burst, just like with Kaioken. And so he can do a massive burst in an instant of energy and fire an attack off, a punch, a kick, anything like that, just like the blast we saw when Goku used one against Raditz, when Piccolo was using the Makanko Sapo special beam cannon. They can do all of that in an instant with their punches and kicks. The only trade-off there is with stamina, which is why 17 and 18 becomes such an insanely powerful threat against them. So this is why he could beat Jiro and why the energy that was stolen was nothing, because even though Jiro literally added whatever amount of power to his already pre-existing power level, let's say that he had a power level, I don't know, 160 million, and he added 140 million, so he'd be 300 million, Piccolo can go from 140 million to 350 million or whatever in an instant with a single punch and a kick and a whatever have you, because the fact that, well, he can do short bursts. His base power level doesn't even need to be that high. He could be, I don't know, 80 million, 100 million, and still put out more than Goku on Namek or Frieza or the androids because of his training. So I think that that's worth keeping in mind. They have Kaioken now, essentially, without the drawbacks of the technique, which destroys their body. That's why Piccolo and the others never actually have the Kaioken technique in terms of the flaming red aura and everything like that. They just have the Kaioken ability, essentially, of the short burst with everything beyond just like a blast like they used early on. That's what all the years of training and powering up do. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode of this power scaling series of the Cell Saga. Also, get your own copy today of my first book, Nemesis of the Absence, the first in the Children of Mon series, because of course, as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future. Trunks. Future Trunks.
And you better subscribe!